All right. Hello, everybody. This is Dodd Scientific's E3 wrap up of the first official day of E3, which isn't even actually E3. It all happens in different places. But we got to see Microsoft, we got to see EA, we got to see Ubisoft, and we got to see Sony. And so I'm Pete Dodd, and I'm playing the part of Rich Grisham tonight. And with me, coming from Italy, is my girlfriend Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca. Only by night.
That would be Gabe, from New Jersey. In the middle, or at least in my screen, he's in the middle. Would be Gus.
How are you? How's everybody doing?
And to the right is the infamous, the Midnighter 20C.
Yo, yo, yo. My shout outs to my boys Kane and HD and Red tonight and Voltan. Yo. Wait,
Pour one out.
I was actually had that planned, but my bucket's not under me. My floor can't do it. All right, let's have a good one.
All right, so today was a long day. I had to set an alarm myself because I tend to sleep late to even get up on time to watch Microsoft, and then I was there all day. I was watching all the streams. I was on Twitter. I was doing all that stuff. For the most part, were you guys doing that as well, or were you hopping in and out? Gabe, what did you do today?
I think I'm on my seventh or eighth cup of coffee. So yeah, I did nothing but watch streams all day. So.
Nice. All right. Well, we should probably kick it off with the first conference, which would be Microsoft. I personally felt like Microsoft's conference was good. I didn't think it was great, but it definitely wasn't awful. And Microsoft's has had some awful conferences in the past. So like good.
2010.
Yeah. Like good is good. I don't mean that as an insult. Like I felt like their conference was good. Midnighter, you're a huge Xbox One guy. You own the Xbox One. You don't have a PlayStation 4. What was your overall impression? Were you happy? Like, did you feel good about your purchase? Are there games you want to buy?
Yeah, I thought they had a good conference. Sunset Overdrive looks great. Something different for me personally. I'm used to the first-person shooters and such, so that's looking good. Other games were looking pretty good. I wanted to give them a pretty good grade here. I'll wait till the end there, but things looked good. The Crackdown announcement that they had, I saw a YouTube video actually about that. I don't know if they announced it or if it's just on YouTube.
Yeah,
surprised me. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, that one I was like, okay, good. But the third party Megaton that I was expecting, it didn't happen. So I was a little disappointed on that front. But it was solid. No Connect, TV. I called the 2 minutes last night on the Connect, by the way, the footage, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But solid. Nothing too bad, nothing too great, just solid.
Right.
Solid.
Right. Yeah, my feeling was that there wasn't a Megaton, and part of the reason for that was NT Colonel, or not Colonel, as I like to call him, the guy who leaked all of that stuff on GAF. So we already knew most of that stuff. If we didn't know most of that stuff, it would have probably been a lot more exciting. Gus, do you agree? Did anything stick out like hugely, like you're really excited for, or what was your overall?
Well, I guess people should know first. I do not own Xbox One, but after today, I want one. I do want one. I went into that. I went into E3 just today overall, just like not keeping like high and mighty expectations, and I think that's why I found Microsoft's conference adequate, which is not like a bad thing. Not everything can be great, but that doesn't mean like it was a failure either. And
well, let's be honest. Most E3 conferences are failures. So adequate's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because the not kernel checklist paid off, and you know what? And that actually did not hurt them. And there had been a lot of discussions about it, about whether that guy was like legit or controlled, what have you. But I still think in the end they did a good job, because when I watched them, I got that feeling like they were humbled, because from May last year up until today, it was not the best. It just was not the best year, basically.
You guys are right about that though. He did. If that wasn't for him, there would have been some pretty big announcements, because being a first-person shooter guy, I do like my Halo, and that was pretty huge. 1 through 4, 1080p, 60 frames per second, 100 maps. That's crazy. I'm a COD nut, and I've asked this whole time, just put a COD game out there. No single player. All the maps of all the CODs, put that out there as a game. Just all the maps. People will buy it, man. 100 maps for Halo. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways.
I'm considering
same thing with Forza Horizon 2.
Yeah, that game.
I did not expect that to be this year before not kernel. You know what I mean? Like we just got Forza 5 at launch, and Nürburgring is a nice bonus.
Free.
I downloaded, for free. I downloaded the second that they said it, and. But yeah, like I would not have expected that this year, but not kernel told us, and so it wasn't a surprise. And also, they kind of showed their hand early as well. They showed a lot of Sunset Overdrive in the previous month. They've showed a lot of Forza Horizon 2. Gabe.
Yep.
Mr. European, where Xbox is possibly already dead. Did that? I want to hear your answer for yourself and your answer for your continent. Do you think that that Microsoft's press conference did anything to push momentum?
It definitely showed a change of art. Like at the beginning, at times, I almost felt like I was watching a Nintendo conference, because it was also cheerful and colorful. Like they had Fable and Project Spark and Sunset Overdrive, and I was like, wait, is this? It wasn't so serious, Call of Duty and whatnot. And I also liked a lot the intro to the Sunset Overdrive gameplay. I thought it was brilliant. Especially the "it's a fucking video game" part. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what we would like to play. I was pissed a little bit at the Project Spark ending, like the Conquer cameo. I was actually, I wanted Conquer. I was there like, oh my fucking god, it's gonna come, and it didn't.
Couple guys on my side.
That pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
It would be like if they put Crash Bandicoot as like a side character in Knack.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I want a new Crash Bandicoot game. I don't want Crash Bandicoot in Knack.
I made a joke that like Conker and Banjo-Kazooie are to Rare what like Mega Man's been to Capcom for the last like X number of years. Now he's just going to get referenced, and they'll announce something awesome with Conker, and it'll be like an Avatar item or something.
Free tail.
Yeah.
Anyway,
go on, Gabe.
It felt very playful, like even Dead Rising. I'm not into that particular franchise, but it was cheerful. Even the self-joke that they pulled with the title and whatnot. So yeah, I liked it.
Someone mentioned that on our forums, I think.
When?
that they like the
I don't know,
title?
like a couple weeks ago.
There was somebody who said something about there could possibly be some reason to hold on to your
Oh,
Dead Rising
I
3.
thought you were talking
Yeah, I
That
about.
is
remember that.
true. That is true. I might have heard that
He
as
has the
well.
fattest face here.
I thought you were talking about the title itself. No, yeah, you mentioned that.
It was a
game.
beautiful call. Beautiful call. I had a couple friends, personal friends, that were like, "Oh, you know what? I was about to get rid of my game." Said, "Hey, no. I might have had a dream somewhere out there. Keep your Dead Rising."
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's gonna push any sales. It's still a machine that costs as much as a PS4, and it's perceived, at least, as less powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really make that call. I'm still not interested into it, but I still cannot justify my PS4 purchase as far as I go. So.
But what about the games? I mean, the exclusive games that they showed. And let me rattle them off to you. I'll start with you, Gabe, just to keep it going, and then we'll go to other people. I'll rattle off the exclusives. Forza Horizon 2, Sunset Overdrive, the Dead Rising thing, the Dance Central, who cares? Fable Legends. Fable Legends was actually personally my least favorite part of the entire day. Project Spark, Ori and the Blind Forest, the entire Halo collection, Inside from the guys who made Limbo, all of the Idea Xbox stuff, Phantom Dust, and Platinum Scalebound, which was just a CG trailer, and Crackdown 3, which was a CG trailer, so it's hard to tell. Do those games push the dial for you, Gabe?
Okay, I like Crackdown, so I definitely want to see more of that. As I told you on the forums, I loved Phantom Dust, like, a lot. I'm just so fucking scared that they're gonna pull a microtransaction hell with that game, because it lends itself so good to that kind of shit. Platinum Games, I have a weird relationship with them because I love their games mechanically, but I hate the fucking characters, like every single one.
I feel the same way.
But the games are good. The games are really good, and so yeah, it was a CG trailer. I have no idea what that's gonna be about. What else? Project Spark, not doing anything for me. I like my Little Big Planet. Well, Sunset Overdrive, yeah, I like that one, and I like the tone of that one. It doesn't take itself seriously. It has a lot of Ratchet and Clank into it, like a lot of it, and I dig that.
Right.
What else? Help me out here.
Well, I mean,
Halo?
if it's not sticking out to you, it's not.
Halo.
Halo's something that we should hear about. Like, I mean, that collection is so huge. Like, I'm personally sick of Halo, but that collection is so huge that I assume I'm going to buy it. Like, does that do anything for you, Gabe?
It's nice, and it's kind of a nice collector piece. And as you know, I'm a huge collector of stuff. And but as far as playing it, I mean, I played them all to death. So,
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Gus.
Yo.
All of the Xbox exclusives. You just said before you don't have an Xbox One. That list of exclusives I just ran down. What stood out to you? What's pushing you towards it?
Sunset Overdrive's exclusive, right?
Yep.
But that one has stuck out for a while, I guess, because it looks. I keep calling it like Jet Set Dead Rising in my head because it looks very colorful.
Yeah, definitely.
I am actually genuinely into that Halo collection because Halo, especially Halo 2, is pretty much my gateway into Xbox Live, And it was pretty interesting that they actually emphasized we're actually leaving the multiplayer alone as is. So here you go. But it's going to be like 1080p and 60 FPS and all that. And I'm even considering even if I don't get an Xbox One by the end of the year, I might actually buy a copy of that, which is like probably a terrible practice, but Forza, like it's lately I've been. That is a weird place to come from with that. Since I've been playing Mario Kart, like I kind of got this itch to play, like to drive in games again. So I don't like Forza has never been a series that resonated with because Forza Horizon was the first one I ever played in my life, which I liked, but racing as a genre like is not like my forte. But it is something like I would play, and I don't know as far as the indies like what is exclusive or timed exclusive, and there's that parody stuff with the ID at Xbox, but what was that one? I don't know. What was that? The Limbo game? Inside.
Yeah.
That looked fun. I think there were some pretty interesting exclusives generally for Xbox, and I did feel enticed. Like I would pick one up like when I can.
Is the Limbo sequel exclusive?
I believe they said at least that it was Xbox first.
Oh, okay.
So that seems to be the whole thing with indies right now is timed exclusives, which makes sense because indie studios are so small that they can't launch on multiple platforms at the same time anyway. So they might as well sign a contract and get a little cash for going someplace first, you know.
True.
So Midnighter.
Yes, sir.
20C.
20 Club.
Love the Xbox. What got you pumped up?
Out of all those games today, exclusive-wise, we're talking, right? I also am interested in Sunset Overdrive. Looks like the Jet. What is that? Jet Grind, Jet Set Radio. Those yeah, exactly. Looks like that kind of style, and that has to me a little Monday Night Combat. I don't know if anybody played that. Is that what it was called?
I always wanted to.
Yes, it's something similar in a
similar art style. Definitely.
Yeah, that's where I see a little bit. Forza Horizon 2, obviously, that's going to be great for me. Like a lot of buddies like to race around, have a couple beers, and maybe a couple Gatorades to drive around on the Forza Horizon. We don't want to have a couple beers and do that. The indies.
I don't think it's illegal to do that with a video game.
Well, for the youngins out there watching, if you're watching the Doddcast tonight, what are you doing up? It's late.
The youngins should never watch this fucking show because
it is late.
We'll talk about dicks.
We're professionals. Don't try this at all.
Yeah. So those two, the Limbo 2. I like the first one. Didn't go too far in it. My lady actually will like that. And what was the exclusive that the big one they were supposed to drop today? What was the name of that one? The one that was on the original Xbox?
Oh, sorry, Crackdown.
Phantom Dust.
Oh, Phantom Dust.
Phantom Dust. Okay, yeah, that for me, I was a bit let down. I thought it was going to be. To be honest, I used to. Back in the days before I got screwed over, I had a little insider myself, and he told me Perfect Dark was coming, so I actually thought maybe Perfect Dark was finally coming back, but no, not this year. But the Crackdown for me, the Crackdown brought it back, so looking forward to those.
That there were CG trailers made me forget already about Crackdown and the Platinum game.
Oh, also Killer Instinct Season 2. I can't forget about that. I do like Killer Instinct Season 1, so...
Right. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm not a big Killer Instinct guy, but I know a lot of people really love that, and the fact that Double Helix got bought by Amazon, Microsoft said, we're going to go on with the series, but, this isn't just a Microsoft thing. This is like a lot of companies say, we're going to do this, and then they silently get rid of it. So it was really nice to see that Microsoft actually wasn't full of shit. Like, they have a new team working on it, and Season 2 is coming, and doesn't do anything for me, but that there are many, many people in my Twitter feed that fucking love that game. So that's cool. Well, sticking with you then, and wrapping up
Yes, sir.
Microsoft Conference. What did you think? Like, my overall was like, it was really steady. You know, other than what I complained about before, like Fable Legends, for whatever reason, just bored the shit out of me. But the rest of it, it was just like, it was all good, but I didn't feel like there was high highs. There weren't any megatons, but there also weren't any like groaning, cringing, like what the fuck. Like, I mean, when they did the Kinect stuff, like it was almost there, but like you predicted, it was only 2 minutes long, so it was like, oh, Kinect, it's over. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Let's move on. So that's what I took away from the conference. Like, what was your overall impression?
You know, I would have to agree. I'd agree. There wasn't too many lows. There weren't too many high highs. It was pretty solid all the way through. The Kinect part of it was pretty much like me in the sack. In, out, done. I will disagree, though, on the Fable part, because I have a few of my nerdy buddies and myself who Dungeons and Dragons. There was a game back in the day. It was a board game. It was called. Here's a little something. If anybody out there remembers this game, it was called Heroes Quest. It was a board game called Heroes Quest where you were beautiful. It's worth a lot of money. Heroes Quest, where you were the dungeon master. So I found the dungeon master part. That's kind of cool. But
I think that's really cool too. But there's a game called Dungeon Land that's coming that seems to do that.
It might one up it.
Yeah, that was the only thing. Like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, cool, but there's already
something around the corner.
Yeah.
All right. Well, but like you said, I don't think there were the lows. There was anything that people could be like, come on, you guys talked about TV, or you put some statistics up. There wasn't any megatons. I thought that one announcement was going to be a pretty big game. I thought maybe they might rock my world and say also maybe, hey, Halo Wars is coming back. But it was solid. Are we grading? When you let me know when we grade these, and I will put my grade on the Microsoft.
Well, let's give it a grade.
I was stuck between two, and the Crackdown CGI puts me at a solid B. Solid B.
That's where I am too, by the way. So I'll throw my grade in now. B there. So Gus, what was your overall, and what would you grade it?
What I liked about this year's Microsoft conference was it didn't feel like it was put together by like corporate committee thinking. Like, I think Phil Spencer came out on stage and he brought a pretty good energy to it. And they were like, oh, games, and there wasn't any, because almost every Microsoft conference you think about in the past, you crack on it, because there's always that one moment that you're just like, some old guy in a suit thought this part up, and it's awkward and all that. And yeah, I did notice they didn't really talk about Kinect all that much, aside from the Fable Legends and all that. Like, they really wanted to have a bounce back year, and I think they even if the stuff wasn't a surprise by then, there was solid stuff. There's good stuff to be excited about.
Did they mention the cloud, Gus? I can't even remember. Do you remember?
Yeah,
did they even mention the cloud much?
The cloud is not in my notes at all, actually. So,
yeah, no, they have started calling it what it is, which is dedicated servers, which is brilliant on their part, because they dedicated servers are a good thing. Like, people who know and understand multiplayer video games want dedicated servers. When you start talking about the cloud, it sounds like a fucking buzzword.
Yeah.
So going back to the term that we know was really fucking smart on their part, I think.
Yeah. I agree.
So Gabe, what do you think overall?
You didn't grade the conference, by the way.
I would give it a B+, because I thought this was a solid effort, and I actually felt enthusiasm from them. that was genuine. So I give him a B+ for it.
Okay.
All
So, yeah, as I said, I've seen the change of heart. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't see any train wreck because I like those at E3. Like,
No Skittles this time.
I could have hurt myself, Gabe.
No, but seriously,
we're gonna get to Ubisoft eventually with the dancing. So
yeah, it doesn't even matter who fucks up. I just enjoy seeing it. I really like Phil Spencer as a new host, like a lot, especially compared to the Dawn. So I'm gonna be at 7, like from 1 to 10. Then you guys do your weird A, B.
C.
C.
You're giving it a C. Adequate. Satisfactory.
Yeah, it was a nice thing to look at. I wasn't blown away. I wasn't let down. I watched it and I didn't fall asleep. So, which kind of happened to something that we're gonna go into later.
Oh.
I had a few moments later on where I was like, I almost zoned out in some moments, but I will get to probably.
Right.
What was Evolved, Pete? Was that?
That was like 3 seconds of that
Evolved
game.
is multi-plat. We're gonna get to that eventually.
Okay.
I think I just added Rich L into the call. Are you there, Rich?
Hello.
Hey there.
Hi.
How are you?
Hello, Richard.
Hey, at long last. I don't know if my video is working, so I'm not too sure what's going on with that. But
No, it's fine because there's a picture of either your girlfriend or your wife with you. So whenever you talk, we get to see a cute girl.
Yes.
oh right.
Much better than whenever I talk.
Well,
Finally, a pretty face on this cast.
We're just wrapping up the Microsoft conference. Did you watch that this morning? I know you're in the UK, right?
Yeah, so that would be late evening for me, 5:30.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I watched it. Well, I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it. I had to go and do bits and bobs, but I watched the beginning and the end. So the best bits, if you like.
What was your overall feeling from it? Like, did you think it was good? Did it make you cringe? Somewhere in between.
From what I saw, it was pretty decent. I think it was better than it has been. The only thing that made me a little bit cringe was the Sunset Overdrive trailer. That was a little bit cringe. But other than that, I think it went pretty well. It was mostly games, so it was all games, so it went well for me.
Excellent. I actually kind of agree. Well, I don't really agree with the trailer part, but there's some of the marketing stuff that they're doing with Sunset Overdrive. I feel like is too like 1990s extreme.
I was trying to. Can I say? But now, you know what? Because you mentioned that, and I was trying to figure out if that was supposed to be ironic or not. Because that dude looks straight like X Games 1999, and it's about like an evil energy drink or something. So and the skeptical in me was wondering, like, this is the game industry. I don't think like they even know what irony is, but I really want to give them the benefit of the doubt. So I was curious.
He's on stage. He's like, "And you are the hero."
You. To be honest, I was fooled at first. I thought it was the when that first came out. I thought it was the new Battlefield Hardline game coming up. Fooled the hell out of me.
That was like that. The beginning of that trailer, I thought was.
Oh, it was a soldier. Right?
Yeah.
Like, sitting like.
Yeah. Tricked me.
All right, well, let us move on to third party, which is going to involve the Microsoft conference, the Ubisoft conference, the EA conference, and the Sony conference, because they all have so many fucking pieces of paper here. I wrote shit. I took notes for like the first time in about 15 years today. So this is exciting.
I used a real notebook with a pen in 2014.
I couldn't find a notebook, so I took printer paper And I just started writing on that, and so here we are. All right, where should we go? Let's go to Gus. Third-party game, big game, not something, not any of this indie crap that all these PlayStation, Sony ponies are into. What big third-party game stood out to you? Maybe a game that you weren't excited about, but after seeing it today, it changed your mind. And anything like that happen with you, Gus?
We're covering now. This is third party, and this is
third party everything.
Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six is alive. Like
best answer.
And because this is 2014, so. Well, the last Rainbow Six game was Vegas 2. Like, if some people don't know, the last one was Vegas 2 on a console, and then I think like in 2010 they put one out for iOS. That was by Gameloft, I think. And then Rainbow Six Patriot started like getting surfaced around 2011, and I remember the trailer was very leaning to, at that time, to the Occupy Wall Street thing was going on, so there was a lot of ties to that. But then it was just dead, and I thought it was funny seeing the Rainbow Six Twitter active after 2 years. But just watching the Rainbow Six trailer, it had that awkward like scripted multiplayer banter that like no one talks like that during a multiplayer game. But,
that would be much more fuck it and motherfucker and do this and do that.
Yeah. This fucking cocksucker on the other side of this wall, and what you motherfuckers kill us.
But it was fascinating seeing in the many military shooters we've gotten over the years, and I was very excited to see that name again, and especially because the Vegas games had the terrorist hunt, which was like just you and some friends, and it was just like 20 guys in a map and like bots.
Terrorist hunt was awesome.
It was great, and that's what I want again, and I want that Rainbow Six feeling back, and I don't know if they even alluded to any kind of plot because they were showing just like a hostage extraction, but I'm very excited to see the story actually.
I love the fact that it was really tactical, because a lot of shooters these days it's just run, like Call of Duty, it's like you just run around and or lay down on the ground somewhere and you have a knife that has 10 feet of suction, where that was, Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon and all those games back in the day were really, you had to work as a team. You get killed, you're out. There isn't respawns. You don't get to just run back in and shit like that.
Rainbow Six games were hard back in the day. They were really hard. Like you had to bait. If you're like listening to this and you've never played one like 10, 15 years ago, you're basically literally inching through rooms because terrorists will pop you and you'll go and that's it for you.
You get shot in the fucking pinky and you're dead.
But I always
midnight.
Yes,
what was the third party game that stood out to you, or improved the most? Like something you wasn't on your radar and now is. Either or.
Yeah. Probably, it looked like a fresh take on something I haven't seen in a long time. I think Madden 2015. No, wait, that's not right. No, that's a bad joke, guys.
I was
those four guys in the end zone. they look the same. Those guys are refreshing. To be honest, third party. Evolve, huh? That's a third party game there?
Yep.
Yeah. That game, watching that, I watched that on the Spike on my 55-inch HD. I was blown away by the lighting on that game. I didn't know anything about it, so I still don't really know too much about it. I had to work all day, so I didn't look it up too much. But that game looked really good, looked really fun. Playing as the monster. I remember playing as Jaws back in the days, so I know how it is to play as the monster. And people hate it, but since I'm a first-person shooter guy, I thought the new Call of Duty looked pretty sweet.
It did.
Like I tweeted you earlier, CODST. Looks like Call of Duty meets ODST.
To me, it looked like Titanfall meets Killzone.
Yeah.
But Titanfall has a little bit of, or a lot of Call of Duty, and Killzone has a lot of Halo. So we basically were saying the same thing with different games. Gabe, before you fucking fall asleep, what time is it there, by the way? Is that light coming through the window?
Yeah.
Behind you?
Dedication.
6:31.
What stood out to you? Third party game,
That's an interesting question, because actually I think only the third party games stood out for me, to be honest, in the whole day. Starting from the fact that if you give me a sword and a shield, I'm a happy camper. I'm gonna go with Dragon Age and obviously The Witcher, because I can't fucking wait for that game.
Between the two of those, which do you want more? Because if you say Dragon Age,
that's gonna touch my bitching heart, and I'm gonna say The Witcher, even if it's gonna turn out as like a bad game. But one is EA and the other one is CDPR. So yeah. The other one, it's Rainbow Six for me as well, and that's because it reminded me a lot of SWAT. I don't know if you guys played that series.
Yeah. Yes.
And I dig that. What else? To be honest, a lot of games, even Evolve for me as well. I'm following that game since a while, and I dig that. I like asynchronous multiplayer. I dig that since the original Xbox, with Splinter Cell. You guys remember that the second one? It started having the asynchronous multiplayer, like. The guards were in first-person view, and the spies were in third-person.
Oh, spies versus mercs.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm calling it asynchronous. It's not the right word, I think.
If you're calling it asynchronous, it's not. If you're calling it synchronous, it is.
Okay. Well.
you're from
balanced,
Italy, and you're cute, so you can do whatever you want.
You had me at hello.
Okay. and then
Rich. That
stuff.
isn't Rich Grisham. Oh, sorry, Gabe.
No, it's just pretty much every third party, even Assassin's Creed. I mean, I think the environment, especially when it's in Europe, I like it, and I don't particularly like the games, but I like the setting. So yeah.
All right, Rich L. Not Rich Grisham. Of what you saw today, what third-party game stood out to you? Like, doesn't matter what system it's on, you would get it on whichever one you owned.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with the Rainbow Six again, because I used to love playing Raven Shield and pistols only terrorists. That was like what I used to do all the time. So I used to enjoy doing that quite a lot. But other than that, I think Assassin's Creed, like everyone else was saying, that definitely stood out to me. I really liked the look of that. It kind of looked a bit stale, though, in the sense that it sort of looked similar with the whole do a side mission here, side mission there. I don't know if I can do all that again. But I liked the idea of it. It looked nice. It looked good, and I liked how he sort of moves now. He looks like he moves a bit more freely. That was pretty cool for me. But other than that, I think a lot of them I just sort of I like the look of, but I don't know. I'd have to see. I liked Little Big Planet 3 as well. Actually, I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't care.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. So
I like the idea of it, and but I like how a lot of them now are doing 4-player co-op as well. That sounded pretty cool to me. Like, a lot of games seem to now have where you can have 4 people playing with you. So in mission as well.
It felt like co-op was a big thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like the games we're talking about, people are bringing up Evolve, a lot of people are bringing up Assassin's Creed. It seems like in Assassin's Creed, it's the first time that there's been any co-op in it at all. That seems to be I think a logical step. I mean, for a lot of us as we get older, we used to play games together, sitting on a couch, and now we're older and we want to play online co-op. So that makes a lot of sense. All right, let me flash through a couple games, just real quick opinions on them. That this is just third-party games. I mentioned Tomb Raider didn't really show much. I'm excited that there's another Tomb Raider. Witcher 3. Gabe.
Yep.
You mentioned Witcher 3. You are a CD Projekt Red fanboy.
Yep.
Which it is like one of the few companies that you can be a fanboy of, and it's not a bad thing because they do pretty much everything right. Like, they don't charge for DLC, they don't charge for huge updates. What did you think of what they showed of Witcher 3?
I didn't particularly like the combat because it always felt a little bit weightless in every Witcher game. Like, it's not even weightless, it's just a little bit weird, but the games are amazing anyway. And and plus, I can't really pass on the policies of that company. Like, I saw even on the website what they're doing. If you already had Witcher 1 and Witcher 2, they're giving you vouchers, like discounts for other games if you buy The Witcher. So you end up paying almost half of the initial price. And it's like, well, I mean, what do they have to do to entice people more than the other companies?
Gus, what was your feeling about Witcher 3? Is that a game type you like?
My thought on Witcher 3 was, man, I should really, really play the first two Witcher games. I have them in my Steam account, and I can't say I had a real strong opinion of The Witcher 3 because I'm not part of that fan base, unfortunately. I played maybe an hour, like 2 hours of The Witcher tops, and I liked what I played, but it does seem like a game like I'd buy just because it's like something to have for PlayStation 4, I guess. But it was intriguing, at least to watch. But I know like the fans have like a more thorough reaction because they know the system well, and I'm just looking at it more casually. I mean, it looks good, I guess.
Midnighter 20C, Witcher 3.
I was gonna go with a which you're talking about, Willis joke, but I didn't think it would work. So I actually have never played any of the Witchers. From what I've seen, I think it looks great the way it looks. Is it similar to a Elder Scrolls type of game, or nothing at all like that?
No.
Nothing at all the way it plays.
It
No.
looks. This one looks like to me that it has a more Elder Scrolls influence in that it's an open world.
Okay.
But in terms of combat and stuff like that, it's much tighter and much more skill-based than the Elder Scroll games, which is kind of like,
hack and slash sword, it. Yeah.
Here's my fireball. Like,
yeah.
the combat is a lot quicker. It's a lot tighter. But they do seem to be going for the whole open world thing, which in my mind can supplant.
Well, I'm an Elder Scrolls fan of those type of way it looks, and that's what I kind of got the vibe of the way it looked. But if you're saying that the battling is a little bit tighter, maybe like a type of like Rise type of battling, if it's something like that, or Batman-y Rise or something like that type of God of War battles.
It's a weird mix. It's a weird mix between Assassin's Creed. Batman, and a little bit of Dragon's Dogma, maybe. Like,
okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you from just hearing that and the way I see how it looks, I think that'd be a great game to have.
the selling point, though, it's really the characters. Like,
Yeah.
that's why I said no, it's not at all like an Elder Scrolls game.
Okay.
Because
And also some of the greatest tits that you'll see in video games.
yeah, that's true.
Then hold on, I'm putting a pre-order down. Hold on.
Yeah, no, we're
I
talking
did,
full
actually.
naked breasts.
She
Well, in the
pointed
first
to her
two, at least.
boobies.
So,
Nice.
so Rich Not Grisham, did you see any of The Witcher 3 today?
I didn't see any today. I have seen it before because I had Witcher 2 and I liked it. Not because of the boobs, but because I just sort of enjoyed the missions and the there was something I was going to say I enjoyed about it, but I forgot, so I couldn't have enjoyed it that much. But I'll probably pick up The Witcher 3 because I did enjoy The Witcher 2. I think I enjoyed how every decision I made, I wanted to make sure I made the right one for me. So it was very much like if I sided with something or something else, I don't want to ruin it in case no one's played it. But it was something, I sort of made sure I made the right decisions that I wanted to do. So I think I'll probably pick up The Witcher 3 if it's sort of similar.
Yeah. I think it. Well, at this point, it looks like it. I mean, it looks like the Witcher. The jump between The Witcher 1 and The Witcher 2 is pretty huge, and it looks like the jump between The Witcher 2 and Witcher 3 is just as big,
Yeah.
which is impressive considering the fact that The Witcher 2 is so good.
Yeah.
So, excellent. Okay, let's do one more third-party game. Well, let's not even fuck with The Division. It's so far off. Far Cry 4, Gabe. Do you give a shit? Is it too much Far Cry 3, but just in a different area?
I love the very first one, and
Yeah, me
I
too.
spent countless hours making maps for my friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly care for the other ones, like even Far Cry 3 didn't do that much for me, but I love Blood Dragon, like pretty much everyone I know. This one, I want to see more of that. I'm still not sure. I like the villain, I suppose he is. Yeah, I kind of dig that guy. It's weird, but
I found him interesting myself when they showed him on the box. It started. It's actually a guy that I consider myself sort of internet friends with, a dude named Jed Whitaker, who is he does streaming but he's also on GAF, and he is a gay man, and he thought that the cover looked like that guy was a gay man, but it was like all of the evil gay men kind of thing. And I didn't really agree with it, but I didn't argue with him because he's my friend, you know, and seeing him in action today, I didn't really get that vibe. But that has been, I mean, a lot of people sort of jumped on that, where they were like, and they were also calling him a white guy, where it seemed pretty clear to me that he was Spanish of some sort, even though he's voiced by that dude who voices everybody. Yeah. So overall, Gabe, it's not doing anything for you?
it's just I need to see more of that, and I need to put my hands on it. So I
Right.
don't know yet.
All right. Gus, let me rephrase the question a little bit, just to give perspective to people. Did you play and enjoy Far Cry 3, and what do you think of Far Cry 4?
I did. I did play Far Cry 3 a little after it released, and I did like it. I didn't play Blood Dragon, and I know I'm gonna get like a lot of groans for that, and I will get around to that. But I did like Far Cry 3, even though like I do think it was like trademark Ubisoft repetitiveness, but I still kind of enjoyed it in a way. And when I saw Far Cry 4 today, first when I saw it at the Ubisoft thing, the first 5 minutes I was kind of like zoning out. So I saw the intro, and I didn't really think much of it. And I did think the villain guy that's on the cover, was interesting. At least he could have been as interesting as Voss. But it wasn't until the Sony conference when they showed like the clips, the footage of that, and I was like, okay, like you kind of got me here. I will definitely check this out. It's just fun to that game seems bred to goof around in a lot, but I never feel like I can. But like it just seems like a kind of game I want to cause destruction in, like just dynamic destruction, and not really just engage in a story. That's how I view those games.
Well, one of the things that I found interesting was that there you can play co-op. The Far Cry 3 had co-op, but it was co-op missions. In what they showed at the Sony press conference, not at the Ubisoft press conference, was a co-op guy coming in just to the normal game, which is a pretty big deal. But then they said that you can play co-op without owning the game.
Yeah, that's the part. That's the part I saw too.
It sounds like
How the fuck does that work?
It sounds like with how the DS has used to have download play. Like it reminded me of when Mario Kart DS came out, and if you didn't have it, you could download like connect to your friends.
Right,
DS.
but we're talking about 3 megabytes. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like, well, maybe people can download a huge Far Cry 4 like app.
Yeah, how does that work?
Play unless people invite you in, but
unless it's like a streaming thing, kind of.
Yeah, it could be that too.
That was pretty big, though. That was a pretty big feature that they announced.
Yeah.
Although the thing was,
feature that they announced and didn't explain at all how it would fucking work. I mean, it's like the cloud, you know? It's like, oh, the cloud's just gonna do this shit. How? It's just gonna.
We'll figure it out.
Click your heels together and it'll happen.
Duct tape. The answer will be duct tape.
All right, Midnighter. Admitted first-person shooter fan.
Yes, sir.
Did you play Far Cry 3 and did you like it?
I have never played a Far Cry. When I saw the stream going, I watched it on the like I mentioned before the show. I didn't see any of the Ubisoft games much. I did see that, however, during the PlayStation's showing.
They showed way more during PlayStation.
When I was on a live chat going on, and I was mentioning, I was like, this game looks great. This looks awesome right now. And they were on that train going down and blowing things up, and you know, I thought that was great. I saw an elephant in it. The elephant looked like it could be some good fun.
I hope we can ride those.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty cool looking. So from someone who hasn't played that type of game or played Far Cry, I thought that looked like really good fun. Had me interested.
Rich Knockrisham, did you play Far Cry 3? Did you like it? Did you see Far Cry 4? And is it doing anything for you?
I didn't. Far Cry 3. I played like 30 seconds. I played my friend's game. I hadn't really played it, and I haven't really played any Far Cries. I wrote down two things. It was obviously the PlayStation thing that you've already mentioned, and I just put that the bad guy had stylish hair. But that's what I really got from it. I liked it. It looked nice. It looked okay. That's all.
Yeah. Far Cry 3 is gorgeous, so I would assume Far Cry 4 is going to be huge. All right, so we are.
Hey Pete, can I add something to you guys to the conversation of, since I didn't see the.
Sure.
I loved the Tom Clancy Rainbow Six, and it had something. That game had something that I haven't had any other game do since, and I had no idea why none of these other games do it. But I remember playing on my Xbox 360. They allowed you to take a picture of your face and put it on your character.
Yeah.
Does it still? Will they still do that? I mean, that was pretty cool. Does that still go on with that game, or do they not do that anymore?
I have no idea. There's actually was a bunch of games that used to do that when the cameras sucked.
Yeah, exactly.
And now we have these cameras. Now we have these cameras. I mean, the Kinect's obviously better than the PlayStation 4 camera, but they're both good.
Like the show, you could put your face on the show. I thought back in the day or something, right?
Fight night 1.4, you could have your boxer with your face.
That's right. Yeah. Bring that back, people. Bring that back. That was awesome.
I blame
think you should still
Uno
do
dick pics. I blame Uno. Then the dick pics people were probably posting back in the day.
Like a DLC of your face. That would be awesome.
See?
I think you can still do it on FIFA 14. I think you have to do it online, though. But that's if you pay FIFA 14.
I have no idea about that. Can I just add a little thing about the Ubisoft conference?
Absolutely.
The first 10 minutes were surreal for me. Like, they started with Far Cry, and the guy came on stage and was like, fucking this and fucking that. And then Aisha came on stage, and the first 2 words were, holy shit. And I was, okay, right on.
They swore so much in the first 10 minutes.
And I was like, I grab a beer and scratch my balls and drop a few words. I felt manly, you know. And then the screen turned pink, and there were people that started dancing. And I was like, okay, maybe I switched stream by accident or something. And then they started talking about stereotypes and French against Americans. And then, without even realizing it, they brought on stage another stereotype. Which was a guy from Ubisoft San Francisco with a fucking scarf, you know.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't even have to tell us he was from San Francisco. Yeah. They just had to give us the
I'd like to clarify. I mean, I'm European, and anything goes, but I'd like to clarify that in the homophobia.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm between 1 and 10. I'm at the I can't believe I'm not gay point. So to be super clear. But yeah, it was fucking surreal.
You got 4 of them. It takes 4.
Yeah.
I have one comment about the Ubisoft conference.
Go for it.
I loved the one part when they were, I think, showing Just Dance, and Aisha Tyler was like, hey, you guys know that Pharrell Williams song, Happy, right? You guys aren't tired of that song, right? And then they do a whole dance number to that song. Like, fuck you, if you're tired of this. Here's a whole dance number to this. And they did that again. That was their moment. That was that cringe moment for me, where I saw people dancing, like, within the audience, and I think they were part of that little team assembled to dance during that. And I was like,
yeah, when they're coming down the aisle.
Yeah.
That was cringeworthy. Did you see that, Rich, not Grisham?
Yeah, I saw that, and I thought it was incredibly cringy. I did like the whole like phone thing though. I thought that was pretty cool. Even though it was cringy, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, like that's not something that I would do, but I like the fact that that was a new idea.
Yeah, exactly.
At the very least.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the look of Valiant Hearts from the Ubisoft one, because I like Child of Light, and then when I saw that, I thought it was a really good idea. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. And Midnighter, you said you didn't see Ubisoft, right?
Unfortunately, no. Then I'm actually, for some of the parts, I'm glad I didn't see it sounding like.
It was the weirdest conference. Let's go over the EA conference as a whole then, and we'll start with you, Midnighter. Did you see the EA conference?
I did. I did. They teased me with that Battlefront. They teased me, tapped me a little bit, and said, "Oh, we're not going to show too much, though." So, same old Madden, you know.
Fucking gimmicks on defense. But that's a whole other. Let me ask you though, as our resident Xbox One fanboy, when they announced that the beta for Battlefield was coming to the PlayStation 4 and PC right now, but not the Xbox One, did you take that as the quote-unquote slap to the face, or was it just like, nah, that's how shit goes?
Nah, I felt like I felt when Battlefield, didn't they come out, didn't they have stuff early on PlayStation 3 with Battlefield 3? Yeah, felt the same way that way. I mean, they do what they got to do. They, Microsoft had I forgot, when we were talking about them, I forgot they had a ton of games starting off saying, first on Xbox or first DLC. So they both do it. So yeah, no, one's got it, one doesn't. I would love to be playing with you guys because I don't have a PC to play that game, but yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the whole thing. Like right now, I mean, like a month from now, we'll look back and we'll be like, oh, that Battlefield beta, who cares? But like right this second, I can be like, fuck you, I got that shit, and you don't.
I know. It hurts. It hurts. You know what? I'm gonna call my mom right now and tell her that it hurts. Damn it.
Somebody told you in the forum, by the way.
Yes.
That's true. That is true.
That is true.
I knew about theaters.
I knew about the deal, but I didn't know that it was not related to the theaters. So yeah, I got that wrong, but I knew about the deal.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
We actually were pretty good on the forums with the leaks that not just us. I mean, like even just members, subscribers. People hopped in and they're like, I heard this, I heard that. People, for the most part, we got shit more right than my Twitter stream did, at least. The biggest thing I got wrong was the whole that Activision was gonna be going more COD with PlayStation 4, which clearly wasn't true. Because Microsoft started off their fucking conference with it,
first
and
one,
I was like, "Oh fuck, I was really wrong about that one." I mean, not that I was, but it's same. It's the same thing. Like when I'm right, it's not even that I'm right; it's just fucking passing information on.
It's clear social media.
Going back to EA. Overall feelings, Gus, you groaned. Why are you groaning?
No, I don't. I shouldn't groan. It's just like I think of back to EA, and it was like one big under construction gif, like that whole conference. Like, ask me again in a year. But at first I thought it was pretty cool. I did like the little documentaries they kept doing for the games, even though it was like a cover up for like, well, this is kind of conceptual alpha footage or whatever they kept calling it. But I don't know. The EA just didn't grab me. And the funny thing is, the EA conference was the first one I watched. I usually skip them every E3 because I haven't bought an EA game. I can't remember the last EA game I bought. And I mean, like, it's cool that Mass Effect's coming out, which we knew, and Star Wars Battlefront. Like, those are games I'll probably check out. But I don't know. Just as a presentation, it just didn't grab me.
Right. Richel, did you see the EA conference?
No, I didn't. The only thing I did see was the FIFA 15 trailer, and that was it.
As someone with an accent, what was your opinion of that?
Of FIFA 15?
Yeah.
It will probably be the same as every FIFA. I'll probably complain about it, but still buy it.
Yeah, I will too. I got excited though, and I hope that they're not bullshitting. I mean, like all of the, like when you show a sports game without a fucking sports game, like without the actual camera, it's just bullshit. But they spent so much time showing the crowd.
Yeah,
If they can play that up more, that's not a gameplay thing in the slightest, but I think that would bring so much more emotion to the game.
Yeah,
that was the thing, like that they showed that I was like, please don't be bullshitting us about this.
Yeah, because when I looked it up, because I wanted to see the trailer, because obviously I'm gonna get it. the first thing that come up was the goals now shake. And I was thinking, I don't really care about that. I care about if the way it moves, because whenever I play with my friends, we always complain about the touch of the ball. It always feels really heavy and clunky. And it's meant to feel more realistic, but there's sometimes when you think, nah. And the bots, they need working on as well. Like the AI on clubs, they're awful. So I'd rather them fix stuff like that rather than say, yeah, our nets wobble a bit more. You know what I mean?
Right. I think probably. I mean, I don't know why I'm going FIFA Defense Force right now, but I think probably like the biggest complaint about FIFA 14 next gen was that it wasn't a huge step up graphically, but gameplay wise, it was pretty good for FIFA. So I think they were trying to hammer home all of the graphic stuff that they fixed. But not. Gabe, EA's conference. Does EA even speak to Italy other than FIFA?
Oh yeah, they do. They, as I told you, Dragon Age is.
Oh yeah.
That everyone is keeping an eye on it. I told you before, I was waiting a lot for UFC, and I hated the demo, and I hated what I saw on the stream. I just have no idea what the fuck happened with that game. It's like, it was so promising, and now it looks like Street Fighter. Like, I don't want it. As for the rest, same shit. Like, I need to see more. I need to play stuff. I don't want to see prepackaged trailers or voiceovers like someone said before. Like, I need to see.
My personal feeling there is they showed so much like prototype gameplay, like when they were showing that Criterion game, which sounds amazing in concept, but then they were like, here's some bullshit, and it was like pre PlayStation 1 graphics. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? Like, this is actually what game development looks like, where Microsoft was like, here's Crackdown, which is coming out in 14 years, and it's just fucking buildings blowing up, CG out the ass, and you're like, no, the game's not going to look like that. Like, I actually kind of appreciated a bit that EA at least was showing basic concepts instead of going over the top.
I do have one comment about that. The thing about those documentaries that I did, those little mini documentaries, I do wish we saw more stuff like that. Just because I think about like the culture that we live on the internet, and you're always reading a story about how like they patch a game and then people flip out at one little change, and then the developer gets death threats. And I like that they actually brought like a kind of humanizing moment to that. They put faces and names to these projects. And I feel like it gave me a sense of these are real people like working on this stuff, even if we might not be into the concept or we're not going to be a fan of the execution. And I really do wish we kind of saw more of that more often, at least like now and then on their YouTube channels or something like that.
And I'm going to piggyback a little bit of this one, because people sometimes should just shut the fuck up. Because they can win games.
Microsoft for like the past year. Be fortunate.
Fight Night Round 4 was ruined by the audience because they asked for patches, and it just turned into a shitfest. So, yeah.
Is that Dragon's Age? Is that the game that they were tracking that dragon with the blood?
No, that's The Witcher.
Oh, okay. And another thing, what did you guys think about that PGA with the fucking ship crashing through with the ship from Battlefield going through? That was pretty great. I was like, what the hell?
Day fucking one. I mean, it's coming out in spring of next year, and if there's a pre-order up, tomorrow, I would put money down.
Yeah, I'll be ready.
I'm shooting a fucking
My
golf
brother.
ball over there.
My brother and I love the PGA. Yeah, Tiger was sorry, Tiger, you're off of this one.
Yeah. And instead, there is a fucking battleship that's on fire.
Like the USS Arizona, like on the cover.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, because when I said they're using the Frostbite engine, what's going on here? And then bam, I said, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see what's going on.
Yeah, they can reuse a couple assets, I guess. All right,
good.
So my favorite part of the night, not really because of what happened, but because when I tweeted about it, it got retweeted like 65, 70 times, was on Spike TV, whatever, game trailers, everything. Jeff Keighley had had his panel, but also had Phil Spencer on, and Sony was coming up, and
yes.
and he said, the one, like the big show, the one that everyone's been waiting for, Sony is coming up, like in an hour, with Phil Spencer sitting 2 feet away from him.
The big one.
Yeah, I missed that completely. Yeah.
So let us close on Sony since the day closed on Sony. I'm gonna throw my quick notes out, and I'll probably hop in the middle and interrupt everybody. I felt like they started strong. They started almost too strong. Like, it was like, here's fucking Destiny. And we've seen Destiny, but especially the end of that, when it was just crazy chaos, and it actually looked like Halo kind of chaos, like you're in the middle of a war. And then they showed the Order and all of that, and it was like, holy shit, like, are you actually playing a movie? Is filmic actually not just a buzzword, but like a fucking thing that exists? And they were showing these games, and then they went in all this bullshit and TV and like all this nonsense, and then they ended on Uncharted, which was amazing looking, I thought, but it was so short and it's so far off. But at least they showed something. Like Halo 5 had no visuals. They talked about it, but they didn't show it. And I'm assuming those games are going to be like they're both waiting for each other to say a launch date, and they're going to go head to head, which is going to be fun. So let me start with you, Rich, not Grisham, because I haven't started with you yet. Did you see Sony's conference?
Yes, I did.
And what was your overall feeling about it? Without going too deep into any game. I mean, mention games, but don't go, nuts on a single game.
Okay, I won't go too deep. I think most people probably the same. I think it started strong. It was really awkward in the middle, especially with the TV, film, comic stuff that they did. And then it sort of got good again towards the end. But I think everyone was expecting Uncharted, so it didn't make it as... It looked good, but it didn't sort of have that, oh wow, they really ended it on a bombshell. For me, personally, anyway. I liked a few of the games, actually, that they announced. I won't go too much into them, but No Man's Sky for me, that was one. I know it's coming up to, I think, the Xbox One as well and stuff like that, but I thought that looked really good to me. I really enjoyed it, like sort of the whole visuals of it and stuff. In terms of the TV stuff, I liked what they mentioned about the TV stuff. I like how that if you had I don't have one, but if you have a Sony TV, then you could do PS Now on it, and if you got the was it the PlayStation
TV.
TV thing, and when they announced that, I thought that was okay. I think it was good that
It's
they
about
announced
fucking
it.
time that like I actually had given up on it. I did not even think it was gonna be there. It's like, oh, it's just not coming here.
Yeah, I mean exactly. I mean, I'm glad they announced them sort of things, but I think they dwindled too much on TV stuff, and everyone I think sort of got that little shuffle where it's a bit like Microsoft last year. Everyone flipped out because of TV, and what are you guys doing? But for me,
Right.
it was good. But I wanted to know when PlayStation Now was coming to Europe. They didn't mention that, which annoyed me. But
Yeah.
but other than that, it was a good. It was good for me. It was good.
Yeah, the PlayStation Now thing was weird because the only thing they said was when they were talking about the television, the Bravias that could play it. They said if you live in a place where PlayStation Now is available, you can play it on your Bravia TV. And I was thinking, how none of us know where it's available.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Like, that's the most useless fucking sentence.
Yeah, I know. I thought they were also going to walk into a trap because, like Microsoft last year, was like power of the cloud, and I can't remember who said it, but he was like with the power of the network, and I was like, oh no, it's going to be another cloud incident, isn't it? But no, yeah, I enjoyed it, but it just sort of annoyed me that they didn't say when PlayStation Now was come to Europe, or even if it was come to Europe.
Right.
But yeah.
Midnighter. Xbox One owner. Don't own PlayStation 4 yet.
Not yet.
You will own a PlayStation 4 because of MLB The Show.
Oh, yeah.
And baseball.
And Santa Claus will get it for me. I've been a good boy.
But,
yes, sir.
What did the Sony conference do for you as someone who doesn't own the platform? Did it make you want it more? Less?
It made me want it more around Christmas or a little after tax returns time. Because the games I saw, like the Order looked awesome. I can't say anything bad. I mean, it looked great. I liked, people say it's like a Gears of War type of style of play. I like Gears of War, so I like, but it looked great to me. Did Rich? What was that game, Rich? That said he said it's going to be on both. The game that started off with the dinosaurs, and then you went to outer space.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. That thing looked crazy. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
At first, I was sitting there watching that, and I'm like, oh, cool. My little boy can watch me play this. And then took off to outer space. Like, wow, he can really watch me go into outer space. Anyways, I thought that I thought they started off solid, exactly like you guys said. Again, much like me with my lady, it started off with a bang and ended with kind of a fizzle until Uncharted came around. The guy speaking for them, he really was slick. I thought he was pretty slick. I did catch him talk about the free-to-play games, and right after he said free-to-play, first thing on the screen it said something like certain features require a fee. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was good. Another solid Sony did great. I think being a Xbot for a bit there, I was like, shit, these guys are going off on games. Then they hit the TV part, and the hero thing, I thought that was a game coming out at first, and then I was like, oh shit, this is a TV show coming? I had no idea. I had no idea about it, and then they showed the movie.
I went pissed there. I was actually really that part sucked, but I was happy that I had a chance to go leave the room.
It was a good time. Unfortunately, I was like, I need to watch this so I have I can talk about something. So I watched that part. But Uncharted was expected, and by the magic of edit, if somehow someone edited. I'm the one who said no Last Guardian will be shown at E3.
Yeah. Wait,
You are.
wait.
Last night, all of us
Let's
said it
be
was gonna.
honest here.
Or, I
Wait,
mean, Gus and Rich, not Grisham, weren't there,
True,
but
true.
me and Gabe were, and we said that Last Guardian was going to be showed, and we both said that there was going to be a date with it. So like we were double wrong.
wait. That was a bold bet because in the forums I told you exactly what was going to happen.
Come on, let me have my 1 second.
But anyway, I'm going to pimp ourselves a little bit here because both me and Pete, more than a month ago, I think, we said on the forums that the Media Molecule and No Man's Sky were going to be there and have a big presence. So, you know.
You're right. And Little Big Planet talk. You know, I'm not the biggest Little Big Planet fan. I thought it was cool. I own the first one, or part one. Little bit floaty controls for me, but I do like making your own levels and stuff like that. But I did hear on a certain site that they were coming around again, and coming around they did. Good call.
I may have called that weeks ago.
It was a good call.
Yeah. I actually thought it was going to be that hub thing. I did not think it was going to be Little Big Planet 3. So that was, well, not think. I didn't think any of these things. I was told that it was going to be the hub and not Little Big Planet 3. So,
are we grading Sony right now?
yeah. What's your grade?
Who went
Rich's
first?
grade.
Yeah, who went first? Yeah, go first. Whoever went first.
Yeah, right.
I would probably say. Wait, what are we doing? Are we doing 1 to 10 or A, B, and C?
A, B, C.
It would be. I would say it was probably be a strong B, a B plus.
All right. What about you, Midnighter?
I will. You know, it was tough. I was thinking because they showed some great games, and to be honest, right about now, Mr. Bill Gates, mute your volume. Well, I know you're watching the Doddcast, so I don't want you to hear this. I was a little bit more interested in some of the games the PS4 showed, but they were for 2015. So, you know what? I also give the Sony presentation a solid B.
So you have them.
Solid B as well.
Tied.
I think they both didn't let me down, and they both didn't make me go holy shit, but they were solid.
All right.
Oh,
we have Rich Grisham with us.
A new challenge.
By the way, good evening, everyone.
Mr.
G. I'm gonna hit you with a bunch of questions real quick. But I believe Gustavo Fring is waiting, and you can't leave a drug dealer waiting because he'll kill you.
I have a shipment out tomorrow, so yeah. No, I would. You know what? It's funny. I agree with that. I would give Sony a B for their conference and it's funny, you know, and Rich Grisham wasn't around earlier. I graded Microsoft a B plus, but my thing with Sony was I really wanted to tell them less is more, because while I did enjoy some of the stuff they had available, I mean, some of it was kind of a drag in presentation. I think Sony needs to learn how to produce make a presentation. Like, they're clearly riding on their high on the success of the PS4 right now, and they want to revel in all this and everything. And they know how to get you excited for indie games, and because there was stuff that I'm just excited in the indie front I was excited to play. But they had good stuff, and you know, throughout the past 2 weeks, everything was like getting pushed back next year, but I kind of want to now increase that to B plus because that Grim Fandango thing was pretty crazy.
That was pretty fucking
true.
Yeah.
And my
huge for certain people, not huge for everyone. Just
my favorite underdog moment not underdog, that's not the right word, but when the worst kept secret was Grand Theft Auto 5 coming to the new consoles.
Ah, yes.
I got super excited, and because I still play the online, I still play Grand Theft Auto Online, and I'm able to actually bring my character over to PlayStation 4 because they're saved on Rockstar servers, and that excited me.
Well, let's go off on that tangent for a second, and just with you, Gustavo Fring, since you still play the game, the fact that they said that people can bring over their Xbox 360 characters to the PlayStation 4. Yeah. I thought that was huge.
Yeah,
personally, like people were like, "Why do you think this is a big deal?" And I'm like, they just threw an olive branch out to the other side of people who haven't upgraded and said, "You love this fucking game, and it's going to look best over here, and you can bring your save over." I thought that was gigantic.
And that olive branch is coming up to me because I'm playing Grand Theft Auto on the Xbox 360. And I don't know if a lot of people don't know that, though.
Oh, yep.
Your character is not saved on the hard drive of the Xbox hard drive. They're on the Rockstar servers, which is why that online was so borked when it launched. But like the thing is, I tweet about this every weekend. Like I love playing Grand Theft Auto Online with my friend, but there are a lot of things that need fixing on that. But
yeah,
it is
There's still no heists, right? I mean, no. I don't even own it anymore.
No,
that's what I was gonna bring up. Like they announced a new game before fixing the old one, and that pisses the fuck off of me.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for heists. They just had the big update like a few weeks ago. There are no heists, but like earning money in that game is really hard, and it's just and a lot of things are expensive. So originally when that whole rumor about it coming to the new consoles, it was just like, oh, please let me bring this, and they did. They entered to a cross-platform, to another platform, which I thought was really cool. Yeah. So that's actually the one thing that really stuck out to me.
All right, Rich Actual Grisham, we're going to get to you in 1 second with a bunch of questions, but Gabe looks like he's about to die. So before Gabe dies, I would like to hear his final thoughts, or not necessarily final thoughts, but what did you think of the Sony conference overall, Mr. PlayStation Magazine?
So I think every year they have the best stage. I just love what they do with the stage.
They do. That is true.
Didn't like a single one of the hosts this year. I like Jack when he was doing that because
how can you not like Adam Boyes? Come on.
I don't like him at all. Like, and I'm not the only one. Trust me. The biggest problem though, I had the biggest problems with I always forget his name, the new president, the new CEO. I'm gonna get fired.
Anyway, of SEA.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's something weird like Andrew Miller or something. I don't even I don't even know his name.
I didn't
call him Scotty.
Andrew House.
I didn't like him at all. Like in the middle of the conference, I thought he was about to try and sell me like kitchen hardware. Like it was just like the salesman. And
it was clearly his first E3, though. I mean, you got to give him a couple before you can hate him.
No, I don't.
Well, you don't have to. I'm saying you have to, but you actually don't have to.
I don't like it. They showed Metal Gear, which is always a winner with me. And
that was a great trailer.
Yeah, but I shouldn't even be listening about it because I'm just gonna like it, whatever it is. As for the rest, not too excited, I guess, because The Order looks great, but I need to play it again. I think C, even for them. So yeah, it's C as far as Microsoft and Sony go.
Gabe is unimpressed. All right, Rich Grisham.
Yes. Did they talk about Drive Club, guys?
No, they did not, and they did not talk about Drive Club last year either. They did during the February reveal, but they didn't during E3, and they didn't this year. I don't know what that is about. It's like they have some sort of hex on Drive Club E3. But Rich Grisham.
Yes.
Let me ask you a bunch of the basic questions.
Okay.
If you can give me quick answers,
Yes.
that would be great. If you can't give me quick answers, I won't interrupt you because I'm not as good of a host as you are. Microsoft conference. Anything stick out to you in a positive way?
I thought it was extremely well polished. I thought that they delivered the exact message that their core fan base wanted to hear. I thought there was zero fluff, and they went all games from the very front to the very back. So I think from that perspective, it was masterfully well done. I can't think of any cringeworthy moments that are typical of these Microsoft E3 press conferences. I thought it was just extremely well done from their perspective.
All right. Rich Grisham.
Yes.
As Rich Grisham watching
Yes.
the Xbox One conference, what excited you and what did you not really care for?
I was horrified by virtually all of the content, with a couple of exceptions. I was not mortified or embarrassed by the Forza, segment. I thought the 45 seconds that they gave to indies was promising. And other than that, I couldn't stand a minute of it. There's not a single game other than maybe Crackdown that appeals to me as somebody who loves video games and was just completely turned off by everything else that they put up on the entire presentation. Awful.
Well, you are a well-known fan of, or anti-fan of violent video games, and Microsoft showed a whole lot of violence.
Yeah,
so
I mean
They did.
That's what bothers me is that that's all that they think people want to play, because that's all that they showed. And
right.
I know the truth is that there are lots of games that do not involve stabbing people in the throat or shooting them in the head, but Microsoft chose not to showcase any of those and just to go for nothing but killing front to back. And I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to represent video games. I'm embarrassed to talk about them to people. It's embarrassing. It's flat out embarrassing.
Well, let me ask you a leading question, which I shouldn't do as a proper journalist, but I'm going to do. Do you think that they showed so much violence because they really want the U.S. back, and that's what we crave? Even though you're a dude who lives in Jersey, so I mean, like, you actually should be the one here. Well, so does Gus. So the two of you should be, like, you're both in the mob as far as I'm concerned, and you're both at the Jersey Shore getting into fistfights.
Typical.
But do you think that was part of it? Do you think they were going for an American audience?
Well, I think they're going for what sells, and they believe, and either correctly or wrongly, they believe that has the most appeal to the most people who will buy the games and who will buy the console. Part of me wants to believe that when people freak out by announcements of Grim Fandango and freak out by seeing the amazing, trailers for like Abzu and for No Man's Sky, part of me believes that, my gosh, if they would just look on Twitter at people are yawning during, the fourth version of Battlefield, and they're freaking out by this other stuff, they'd be like, wow, we could actually appeal to a whole lot more people if we broaden our scope. But on the other hand, these guys are a lot smarter about the bottom line and the top line than I am. So to me, they're just trying to sell consoles, and that's the way that they feel they can best do that.
You said something interesting on Twitter, which was if you showed what happened on E3 today to a non-gamer, they would think that all gamers are sociopaths.
Yes.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, I absolutely do. There is no way that, and I have anecdotal evidence. A friend of mine was watching the E3 conferences with his wife, and halfway through the Microsoft conference, she looked at him and she's like, "Is that all video games are?" And I'm watching it thinking the same thing. I'm like, it's all killing, like all of it. It's not some of it. It's not part of it. It's all of it. And not only is it all killing, but it's killing in the most grotesque, violent, blood-splattered way. Even the happy killing games, blood bursts out of people spelling words. I'm like, good Lord, can you come up with something a little more creative? Something.
Let's go off on this tangent. Rich, not Grisham.
Yes.
Sociologist in training. Do you think that that violence being the basic language of video games is a good thing, a bad thing, neither, both?
Yeah. Well, where to begin? I think what the other Rich was saying is sort of echoes everything, really. I mean, I think what Xbox tried to do this year was try and maybe show they were for the mature audience, if you like. And a lot of people who complain on NeoGAF and places like that often go, "Oh, you don't have any real games. All you've got is Disney Princess 2 or whatever." And I think what they try to say is, look, no, we have all these amazing killer games. But I think because violence is something that is very is sort of advertised in the media a lot by sort of you see violence in every day, and I think it's something that people sort of flock to, and I think in some ways people use it as a stress relief. From a sociologist perspective, it's very hard to put into words. I wouldn't really know where to begin myself. I think it's more of how we form ourselves as society and more of that primal instinct that we have, but it would be something I'd have to proper sort of research myself, because it's something that I would say I would blame media mostly for, but that is the only thing I can think of at the moment.
Midnighter, 20C.
Yes, sir.
You are, from what I know of you, the opposite. Feel the opposite of these two gentlemen, and I do too, to a certain extent. I enjoy a fair amount of violence in my video games. What is your take on that, though? Like the fact that the main thing in most video games is violence, and Sony, let me just go off on a slight tangent for a second. Sony showed this thing where there's these fucking bird fractal things flying, and I love indie games, and I watched that, and I was like, that looks like the most boring fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And when I saw the Battlefield Hardline trailer, I was like, I need to get that beta right now. I need to go shoot a cop in his face. So
let's be clear. In the game. In
the game, yes.
Well, I am a big first-person shooter guy, but I agree with Richard Squared right now. I mean, I'm older these days. I'm 38. I'm a gaming dad now. I blame media-wise also. Microsoft's trying to get the hardcore gamer. We need where's your games? Where's your games? Hey, they had a Connect that was coming out with some pretty cool stuff, or maybe probably still has some cool stuff. They've got a Connect that can do some other stuff here, possibly put some stuff in different games. There are no more, at least for me, it doesn't seem like there's any more. Where's our Katamari type games? Where's our? I mentioned before the jumping flash
Except
game.
on the Vita, best system available.
And yeah, see, and I'm not the biggest handheld guy. I haven't been for a while, but I agree with both Richards. I mean, it's there is a lot, and I'll agree with you too, Pete. I think it's probably because they want the USA to be their number one spot, and you know how it is in USA. You can show someone get their head blown off, on TV, but you don't show a boobie on TV.
If there's a quarter of a nipple, that's like a $1 million fine.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, yeah.
You
So
fucking slice someone's
forbid,
brain in half.
They say, "Oh, let's watch that again in half slow motion for still pause this." But so yeah, I agree with those guys. Definitely. But so yeah, I think they're just going for what's hot on the forums and what people they think want. It'll change though, I believe.
Right. Gus, feelings on this?
I guess I approached video game violence contextually because I just went on a passionate feeling on Grand Theft Auto online where my friend and I laugh when we fucking run over 40 people in our whatever they call Ferrari in that game, but at the same time it's like me acknowledging, look, this is the most psychopathic behavior. You know what's funny though, as I'm kind of running through thoughts in my head, I actually when I saw that Battlefield Hardline footage, I thought that shit was overkill. Just like that I wanted in on the beta, but just every footage, these were cops and robbers, but they blew up half of LA for a briefcase, and
they took down buildings and shit.
Happens all the time in LA, guys. Happens all the time.
It is interesting though, because it is now spilling over into what video games are becoming, and now in the way we interact with them, and how developers are looking for ways to kind of give challenge and objectives to people. And I don't know where down the road where the militaristic stuff and then criminal stuff just kind of became flavor of the forever. And I don't know, because I think about some indie games that are that are kind of violent. I don't know, I randomly thought of
Hotline Miami is worse than anything. Anything AAA.
Yeah, and I'm excited for part 2.
I am too.
Controversy.
It's good. Yeah.
I don't know, man. But I don't disagree with what Richard Grisham's saying, because I mean, it is just weird. It's hard to put it, just because I'm skeptical of how they market that stuff to us. We talk about these things that we love, and I am looking forward to Batman beats people up, elephants probably get blown up in Far Cry, 30 old guys got stabbed in 18th century Paris, and I want to play all that. At the same time, though, it's just but what, how do you package that so well that you're in my psyche where I actually do want this, and it is the most brutal shit. It's just a prolonged discussion to have, and there's there's no. But I completely get where Rich is coming from though, because it's someone from the outside looking at that, and it's just really, what is this? And most of my friends are really just into stuff like Mario Kart and whatever else, and I don't know.
All right, Gabe. Oh, shit, you're making me want to have a cigarette.
I actually enjoy violence and death in video games, but I need context. And by that I mean that I don't have kids, but there's a game coming out that if I
bet
had
you
kids...
do somewhere.
No, maybe. There's a game coming out that I would let my kids play, and I'm sure in that game there's going to be death and violence, and it's Valiant Arts. And the reason I'm saying this, it's because that's a whole different kind of violence and death. It's actual. It ties into feelings. It ties into real history. I think it's going to be on a psychological level. I had an old father. My father was from 1922, so he barely.
Your father
he
was
was
more
born.
handsome than you, by the way.
I know.
I'm just saying that he sent me a picture of him.
So he was born right at almost at the end of the First World War, like shortly after, and he went through the second one as I believe you guys call them partisans. He was hiding Jews in tunnels and stuff, basically, from the Nazis and the fascists. And I heard his stories, and they fucking opened my perception of things, and I think a game like that one, I would let my kids play it if I had kids. A game like Mortal Kombat or Modern Warfare, I'm not sure about that. And I'm going to disagree with Richard Grisham for a second, and he's probably the right one. I'm going to be wrong probably because he's the one who studied that stuff. I think they're not targeting the older audience. I think they're actually going for the younger one.
Well, that's the thing is mature games, I believe, appeal to 13-year-olds.
Yeah, let's be honest. I mean, I
don't appeal to 36-year-olds.
Easier to Jedi mind trick the young ones.
I played GTA, I played COD, I played Battlefield, and the number of voices that I had in my ear from 13, 14, 15 years old were outnumbering the grown-ups by a large number. And I also am going to go off track a little bit, but something that I noticed, and for you guys is probably normal, it weirded me out a lot that the Spike Game Trailers show was sponsored by actually the U.S. Air Force. Really?
That's not surprising to me, honestly.
That's so they go after the video game crowd.
Yeah.
Wow.
They want fat fucks like me to be like, I'm going to go.
I just want to be. I want to be clear. I'm not anti-violent video games. They bore me, right? But I'm not anti them. And in fact, Pete, you and I have talked about one of the most impactful games I've played was Spec Ops: The Line in the last year or two, and I played The Last of Us to completion. My problem is that the vast majority, 85%, probably, if you count them all up, of the games that were displayed across all the press conferences today were hyper violent. Like, that's my issue. It's not that the games exist, it's that what is presented in these conferences, which is aimed at the mainstream, are so violent, and the volume of them is so much more than the volume of anything else. And, like, I don't know, I'm sure I'm the only one in the world, but the intro to the Ubisoft conference with that trailer for Far Cry, where the dude walks up and stabs the dude repeatedly in the throat, like in an incredibly uncomfortable moment with like the ghastly sounds, and then when that thing ends and a whole bunch of people go, woo! Like that just is weird to me. But anyway.
Can we talk about that for a second? The cheerleaders. I don't remember which conference it was. There were cheerleaders. I swear to God.
There's cheerleaders at every single one of those conferences. There's people bought and paid for by the publishers.
An actual group of girls that went nuts.
Yeah, they were hired.
Yeah, what was
that? Was at EA. There was a woman screaming.
Yeah, it was EA. They went nuts for fucking
everything.
Yeah, no, but they went especially nuts for The Sims, and then that didn't make any fucking sense at the end. Like you're going nuts for The Sims, but then it was like Battlefield or something weird. Yeah.
Even in The Sims, somebody dies on screen. Even in The Sims.
See, they need it.
Are you kidding me? You gotta kill somebody in The Sims?
And some old lady was like this violent rampage in the Sims trailer, I think. Like,
What was the game that had all the ladies' heads on stakes?
That was
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed.
Okay,
Assassin's Creed,
that was
yeah.
that was pretty
And
wild. I was like,
Assassin's
whoa.
Creed
Yeah.
was
That was
that was
horrific.
way violent.
Way.
combat too.
Way violent, and like I said before, I like violence, but there was a lot of stuff in that. Like I believe at one point during the first Assassin's Creed trailer, I typed on Twitter "gross," and
Yes.
that wasn't like me being funny. It was gross. Like what I saw, I was like, ew.
Yeah, I was
disgusting.
eating my lunch. I was eating my lunch during that, and then I had to put my lunch down. I'm not even joking. It was that disgusting.
Yeah, Gus, was that you that said the Mortal Kombat? They're breaking the bones. Boom, boom, boom.
I had a lot of people on Twitter commenting about how they just did not lead with like a discretionary warning.
Right.
Because, dude, and even me, and one of my and it's weird. Like I've seen a lot of horror movies in my time, and gore doesn't necessarily bother me, but except for broken bones. So I'm watching this Mortal Kombat trailer, and they just zoom in on like a bunch of necks getting broken and spines getting ripped. And I've played Mortal Kombat since I was like 6, but like, what? It was just I noticed too. Like a lot of people were saying, how do you not lead with like some sort of viewer discretionary kind of warning? Because we're watching an E3 conference, but you can't just assume everyone is the average 31 like year old gamer or whatever. But
Right.
that actually stuck out. That Mortal Kombat one actually kind of stuck out, and like, wow, this is pretty gruesome, and you just rolled right into it. No warning.
All right, Rich Grisham.
Yes, sir.
I need 2 more overviews from you.
Okay. All right.
And then we will go to the last question of the show to everybody.
Okay.
I want to hear what you thought overall of the PlayStation conference.
Mm-hmm.
What you liked, what you didn't like, what you thought overall, etc. And then, being Rich Grisham from the Press Row podcast,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to hear your thoughts on Madden, NHL, and FIFA. And, well, let's just talk about this right now. They have no faith in live, do they?
No.
They didn't fucking show it at E3. I mean, NBA Live is...
Just that one screenshot.
Well, I mean, but you have, in my opinion, it was the right thing to do, right? You have all of this noise, all of this massive amount of information. NBA Live cannot possibly win by being shown by screenshots or even gameplay. The only way that NBA Live can become anything other than a joke is by releasing a really good game in October. And there's nothing that they can do at E3. Literally nothing they can do at E3 to make that happen. And frankly, it's not worth the significant investment of time and effort to put a demo together to show on the E3 floor. So if I'm Sean O'Brien, the executive producer of NBA Live, I do exactly what they do.
And work on it.
Bingo. That's exactly what I do. Because everybody will forget about NBA Live until October 7th when it releases. And if they got a good game, then people will be very happy. And if they don't, then we will see.
Well, let's keep going with sports games.
All right.
I've only been able to scream this like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
The gimmicky bullshit that they showed in Madden on defense makes me angry.
Yeah.
Though, with you here, it actually makes me think maybe we can keep our franchise going on last year's game.
As long as they keep the servers on. Here's the thing.
Well, they always give it at least another year.
Yeah.
So we would have another year. But what did you think of what they showed of Madden?
Well, here's the thing. What I liked about what EA said about all of their sports games was that they didn't lie to us. They didn't go over the top. They didn't do anything crazy. They didn't say this is going to change everything. It's a whole new world. It's it's the next revolution. No, they're like, hey, look, people say playing defense is boring, so we're taking steps to make sure the defense is not. Why did you mute me, Pete Dodd?
I was trying to mute the other
Okay. So
Rich who had TV coming through. I'm sorry.
they said
Leave off before you were muted.
Okay, so they said that they get a lot of feedback that playing defense is boring. I agree. I find defense boring. I find defense what I wait to get done with so I can get the ball back again. So they're trying to attack it. Whether it works or not, I don't know. I have the feeling that I will not use many, if any, of the new defensive tactics. That I will continue to just play defense as a way to wait to
You're
get.
You're calling them tactics.
Whatever gimmicks, tactics. I don't know if you remember, Pete, but college football, you had the opportunity to get on the other side of the field and have a different camera angle, and I didn't like that.
No,
it weirded me out.
Did.
So I give them credit for giving it a shot, but I have a feeling, and I haven't played it.
Give them credit for copying NCAA from 5 years ago.
Well, I give them
grilling
credit.
you, Grisham.
That's fine. That's fine.
I haven't grilled anyone tonight.
I give them credit for going on stage and saying that people say playing defense sucks, and here's what we're going to do to try to make it better.
It doesn't suck.
That's what they said. I didn't say it. They
I
said
have the #1 defense in the press row. By the way. I don't have the best record. Just the best defense.
I was not impressed nor unimpressed by Madden. I was actually a little happy that it was understated, and I'm cool with that because understated improvements to the core gameplay is what I want out of it. I don't want any bullet back of the box craziness.
How was that understated? It was all gimmicks. It was fucking like quick time events when you're going through the line. It was like hit triangle, hit X, and then you tackled the quarterback.
If you listen to the Press Row podcast that got released today, where we have an interview with Rex Dixon, you will realize that is all stuff
I don't listen to bullshit.
you can use those if you want to, but you do not have to use those if you don't want to. Okay. And like many things in sports games that comes out, I will probably ignore it. So to me, it's purely optional. Not to me. It is purely optional, and to me, I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it at all.
One more question, and I'm sorry for everyone else that's getting bored right now. So we'll go even quicker.
I love sports games.
FIFA.
Same thing. Very understated. Didn't go nuts. They said the crowds and the experience and the atmosphere is going to be even better. I'm totally down for that. They talk about the field getting ripped up. Okay, fine. Not a big deal one way or the other. I mean, I love FIFA as it is, and they keep making it a little better. I'm cool with that. I mean, I just want them to do what I don't think they will, which is to say they're going to have an online franchise. That's the only thing I want from FIFA. Everything else could stay the same, and I'd be happy with it.
Yeah, and they probably will. I was saying the same thing. Me and Rich, not Grisham, were talking about FIFA earlier, and the thing that I hoped was true, because you can never tell with early sports games previews, the thing that I hoped was true was the whole crowd atmosphere thing, because FIFA does that pretty good right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can make pretty good amazing,
yes, even if it's only at selected places, like it's hard to be amazing with the vast amount of places that they have. But if they specifically identified like Anfield where Liverpool plays, and Etihad where Man City plays, and they focused on Barcelona, like even if they bring those places much more alive with specific chants and the things that those crowds do at those fields, that could be great.
And that's a non-gameplay thing that could improve the game, which is weird, but true.
Yep.
All right. So, final question to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Rich, not Grisham, you're going to be last. I see you're muted. That's the only reason that I'm putting that up. So when you see Rich Grisham talking, you'll be after him. But I'm going to start on the left with the most handsome man I've ever seen in my whole life.
Rebecca? I invited him.
His name is Rebecca, and
he
he's
said
from
no.
Italy. And what did you take away from today? What's your whole feeling about the day? Did anyone one up anyone else? Was there surprises? Like, did anything big happen today?
In one word, it was, just to play it off of yesterday's podcast, it was pretty disappointing.
Yes.
That's all I have. I mean, it was 3 press conferences, and that was it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Away.
I'm laughing at the disappointing. That's hilarious.
It's not untrue. All right, Gustavo Fring, owner of Upalo Chicken or whatever, and
Los Pollos Hermanos.
Yes, and you like to deal meth, but also you watch E3. What was your takeaway from today?
My takeaway from today was it feels like this is the closest we've reached to a level playing field between both Microsoft and Sony. I don't know. I guess because usually I watch those conferences and there's always just at least one moment where I'm like, why? But I didn't feel that. Except, I think with the exception of thinking Sony went on for too long, but I feel like we've reached that first stepping stone into both of these consoles having something for everybody. Even though people are still going to fight over 60 frames and however many Ps in the 1080s.
When they don't even know.
Specifically Microsoft, I think, learned their lesson. They licked their wounds for a bit, and I think they came out strong. And Sony's going to keep riding their PS4 high, and I think I'm optimistic actually about where game releases will go in the next year.
Yeah. Actually, one of the things that I actually thought was sincere, and it might not have been sincere, but it seemed sincere, was when Phil Spencer first came out at the beginning of the Microsoft press conference, and he threw sort of an olive branch / piggyback towards the PlayStation 4 and was just saying, we're both doing really well. Like, it wasn't like he wasn't trying to stick his dick out further. Like, it's just like, this is good for all of us. It's what Jack Tretton used to say, the same thing, but not with dicks, but with boats. The rising water brings up all of the boats kind of thing. And I really like that from Spencer. Like, it was a little bit of, like, humility. Like, he accepted they're behind. They need to get the gamers back. So this was a great time to go into.
He has passion. Basically.
Xbot. You said Xbot. That's the only reason why I'm calling you an Xbot.
There's no problems with it. No problems, and I accept it. Like I'm a Laker fan, and we suck right now. I accept it. You know what? Yeah. He even mentioned Wii U, I believe, in that when he said that, right? He said the Wii U as well. He said Wii U? That's beautiful. But yeah, I agree with Gus as well. I had no cringe-worthy moments from either side. Things looked on the up and up. Games for 2015 look like they're going to be pretty great looking. The games we have to look forward to 2014 look solid. A lot of stocking stuffers for Christmas, and it's looking good. I can't wait. What else? Well, they didn't mention much about the Xbox Live apps or PSN apps, but game-wise, everything going forward looking great.
Excellent. Rich Grisham.
Yes.
What was your overall takeaway from the day?
I thought it was a missed opportunity to appeal to a wider audience that I think is there and just not being spoken to. I think the video game industry probably hurts itself more than it helps itself when it blames mobile games, mobile phones for the loss of revenue. I think today shows that when you delight an audience by announcing a Grim Fandango or you show something amazing like the No Man's Sky, I think if we had quadrupled or quintupled those kinds of moments, that a whole lot more people would be excited about playing games tomorrow. But I could be wrong, but to me, it felt like a missed opportunity.
Rich, not Grisham, what'd you take away from today?
For me, it was okay. No, I think console exclusive, to one console, made me go, yep, I really want that. I think for me, No Man's Sky was the best game that I saw that I really want to get. But there was no console exclusive. I think all the games that were going to be on both consoles were the best for me. Other than that, it was okay.
I agree with that. My feeling on today was that Microsoft was even. Here's Microsoft for people watching, and then Sony was. Can I even do this? Sony was really up and down. Like they started off really strong, and then they went really fucking boring, and then they came back pretty good. But overall, I kind of felt like this is the first year of a console, and I don't want to toot my own horn, or maybe I do.
Go ahead, do it.
I do want to toot my own horn. I wrote an article on Dodd Scientifics.wordpress.com, which someday will just be DoddScientifics.com. Someday soon, I hope. Where I talked about the fact that we are in year one of both of these consoles, and year one is not exciting. It is literally, and this isn't me saying literally meaning figuratively, it is literally the year that has the least amount of consoles. So why are they going to throw huge fucking games at us? They're not going to. They're going to be next year, or they're going to be the year after that. They need the install base to do it. Or they do cross-gen, and then we're pissed off, and then it looks like shit on the old ones, and so we're in that weird in-between time, and honestly, for a first year of a console, or consoles, I'm pretty happy with both. Like, I think they're not amazing. Neither console is amazing yet, but they are, for year one, they are pretty good. So,
can I ask you a question about that?
Yes.
Do you have, or any of you guys, because it's what didn't happen to me, and that's why it wasn't disappointed, it was just a little bit underwhelming. Did you have any new long-lasting hype for what they announced? Because I don't. Like, the stuff that I'm waiting for is the same stuff that I was waiting for yesterday and the day before.
No, nothing new.
Agreed. I agree.
Agreed.
Not me.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's stuff that I'm waiting for, but nothing that was really announced today. Well, other than Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
But that's like a 50%er, because there was a Rainbow Six and now it's a new Rainbow Six, right? So that's not even like a full, whatever. Anyway.
Indies are going to save us. Indies will save us. I have faith in indies.
No mention of Minecraft either. Oh, they had a little Minecraft, right? Something
For
that
Vita.
said Minecraft.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Vita.
yeah, for the Vita. It's like the one time the Vita was mentioned. All right, so we are DoddScientifics.com. We will have a website someday. To my left is Gabe from Italy. Gustavo Fring.
New Jersey by way of New Mexico, apparently.
The Midnighter 20C.
Hey, yo, everybody have a great night. Thank you for having me.
And Rich Not Grisham / social.
It'll get there. Sociologist, something like that. Goodbye, and good night, and good morning to some people.
All right, thank you all, and take it easy.